How y'all doing out there? I just want to let you know as the day go by, I always love on you. Spend time with yourself. Sometimes you got to look in the mirror and you got to say, look at me, man. I know I look good. I know who I am. I am here to make it and show you love in these streets and put my head up as I walk through it. Yeah, it's a battle. Yes, we walk around and everybody want to come and take your strength. Then you got some people who say they love you and never liked it one hair on your back or on your body. But they took your energy and thought that was all you was good for and kept you on the side so they could manifest what they want. And when you wake up to what really going on, you start to see that your heart was bleeding for love, real love. So you met the wrong people. You met the kind that would abuse you and never loved you for who you was. They never thought that you could go through them doors and make something of yourself. They took everything of you and you had to be strong. See, you women out there, you got chilling and you get lost with that. Because you think, that man, I can't lose this man. Let me tell you something. Sometimes the best days of my life is when the days I walked away from somebody that took all of me. And then they tried to use me because I was gutable. And I didn't know who I was. I didn't know I had good things coming. But see, sometimes when you don't know who you are, people abuse that and they keep you trapped in some more. But you are not trapped. That's a mindset. You are not with the negative curse. That's a curse that was put on your lineage before you was here. Sometimes people make mistakes in the past and they don't know they got to clean that shit up. So we stuck by doing it, and it becomes our karma for what our families and what we've done in the past. What they have done in the past, you got to break free from that curse. And that is the curse of thinking that you can't make it on your own. See, there's a curse in my family that was like everybody need love. They couldn't walk away from the love of their life because they was afraid and they couldn't deal with their feelings and they let their heart. They was hurting so bad they couldn't let somebody go. Please don't leave me, they would say. But then when you realize you gotta break that curse, you gotta step on faith. Go to Most High and say, if you get me down these steps, I ain't going back no more. I'm gonna show my self-love and joy, and I'm gonna love my kids. And then sometimes you get in there and you think you're wrong because you want them to have the best father. You want them to have the best mother, and so you choose somebody. But sometimes that person ain't healed their own wounds, and they get in the relationship and they tear it apart. See, I learned a lot of choices I made. I could have done a lot better. My children deserve life. My children needed to know that they were strong and they were here for a purpose. But a lot of them didn't feel strong because they thought they were weak. See, they had to learn to love themselves. And when you learn to love yourself, you gonna go out there and show the world who you really is. But when you hide behind a curtain, that's what they want you to do. But the real you need to come out. So I start saying, you pray. You get on your knees and you start saying, Most High, can you show me where I messed up at? Some people don't even know that these women, y'all don't understand a man that's been hurt before. Didn't even know how to love themselves. And then they have children and they supposed to know how to love them and love what they got going on and love their children more than anything. But they don't know how to love themselves. So they abuse the situation. They don't even want to stand up and be a man because they caught in that curse of, I don't know who I am. But that's a negative mindset curse of illusions. You think that you all that and you think you made it by yourself. You think a woman or a man is supposed to raise the kids on their own because that's what you saw when you was little. You saw that you went on and that mother or that father picked up the pieces when nobody else, the other half, wasn't there and would not do it. I know how that feels to pick up the pieces, baby. But you got to show these men, these young men and young women what it really is. And sometimes we got to go in there and show them therapy. We got to show them that, hey, you got to learn to love yourself, because I didn't teach you that. See, you was around people that wanted to take more than they gave. They didn't know how to share their energy in the proper way, so they abuse you. See, there's a curse going around in my family is they don't know how to go away from fake love and love. They don't know how to love themselves, so they don't know how to walk away. So they let people abuse them and let them take them down mentally, physically, and take everything they have, and then that's all they got to do is walk out. Sometimes that curse can be broken, especially that negative mind curse. Always saying negative things in your head when you know they shouldn't be. That's nothing but the other voice that they left and they cursed. See, people do curses on you. But when you sit there and break those generational curses, you breaking it for your latest, baby. And they like, yeah, let's go. Ancestors like, let's go, let's break it. I'm tired of living that over and over again. Not loving myself, not living up to my expectations. I'm living up to what man's expectations or that woman's expectations. But where do you fit in? If you in a family and you just there, your kids are going to be doing the same thing. And you're going to have to learn. I wanted you to see both sides, but I was only one single at one point. Then I had to raise mine. But then I picked a person that didn't know how to love. You got to love the whole family. You can't just love your home. I know how that feels to love one side of the family and don't love both. Kids start to feel that, and they separate. They start acting phony and shady towards each other. And really, they just needed to learn to heal. You got to go back. I can't fix everything. I did the best I could. And I love you, children. But you got to learn to love yourself for what happened in the past and let it go, because you got to be a winner. You got to start loving you and give the past where it's due. You can't live in the past. And don't sell out for your own life just because you are not the richest person. You're not all that and all that because you don't know your talents. So you cheat. You think you can cheat life. I tell you, my children, and I'm telling y'all how to tell your children, you can't cheat life. Because down the road, it's going to come back on you. It comes back to everybody. I don't care if you sugarcoat it while you at home and have dinner at that dinner table, but y'all all mad and sad and don't like each other and won't even smile at each other at the dinner table and respect each other for being here and fighting this life. A lot of you don't know your karmics. A lot of you are karmic kids, karmic parents that are here to teach you a lesson for something you did in the past that you had to go through that karma. Sometimes we get these certain lifestyles because it's karma. See, when you do it in the past, it comes back to you in the future. And then all your kids and all your ascendants got to go fight your fight that you couldn't fight. See, there's ancestors that in the past of mine, they had to fight some things and they was in organizations and cults and all this other so-called organizations. They get together and they think they can make you vanish. But really, you can sell out, sell your soul, but all you did was sell yourself to damnation when you leave here. Because see, there's better things. I don't want to come back here and be used. A lot of people are used as allegedly as clones. They got to come back and do the same thing over again until they break themselves free, because they got them energetically bound because they sold their soul. Remember, your soul is nobody's but yourselves. And you got to break that curse. And you got to believe in thyself. Don't get stuck in the illusions. Say no. Call your energy back, your power, and say, I sever that cord. I severed that cord from long ago that kept me bound to this situation that was not mine, and I'm going to break this curse so I can move on with my life. My children don't got to take the curse of what I done. Change your life. Change your story.